Among the highest degree holders working full-time in science and engineering in the United States in 2013, women made 31.3% less than men in a median annual salary of $55,000 for women and $80,000 for men, according to the Women's Museum of California in 2017. Through extensive research in my own interest with being a STEM major, I have discovered that women have been discriminated against in STEM for far too long. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. Our society has shut women out of STEM for far too long, and right now is when we need them most. We need to collectively increase our representation and appreciation for women in STEM. Today I will be discussing why there are so few women in STEM majors and careers, why we need women in these fields, and how we can increase the representation of women in STEM. There are multiple reasons contributing to the lack of women in STEM. An article I read called Why Are There Still So Few Women in Science by Eileen Pollock in 2013 explores the multiple reasons why there are still so few women in STEM fields today. Pollock herself was a physics major at Yale and graduated with honors, but did not continue on with physics as a career. She wasn't even sure why she and so many other women were giving up on STEM before completing advanced degrees. She then decided to attend a tea at Yale years after she graduated to interview female students interested in science to try and get to the bottom of all of this. The professor hosting the tea warned Pollock that only few students would show, but when 80 women crowded the room, they stood shocked. This goes to show that this has been a problem among more women than they had thought. The women each shared their personal stories and frustrations and hardships that they have faced due to an interest in science. Women in STEM aren't supported to the same extent men are, which causes hesitation when going into the field. Pollock explained she was interested in taking physics and calculus at a public high school, but her principal believed girls never go on in science or math. This led to difficulty when she got to Yale because she was unprepared compared to the boys that were given access to complete these courses unfairly. This is very unfair because Pollock was set back due to her principal's discrimination towards women. Not one of her professors even urged her to go on for a PhD, which made her feel unworthy when in reality she was getting better grades than the boys applying to the schools she was. It's extremely upsetting that society tells boys to stick it out but girls to give up when something is difficult. Women and men should be treated equally and supported to the same extent no matter what. Pursuing a career in STEM can lead to women feeling isolated among their peers. Pollock explained that she was exhausted by all the lonely hours spent catching up to her classmates, hiding her insecurities, struggling to solve her problem sets while the boys worked in teams to finish theirs. Pollock faced intimidation and ridicule by being the only woman in the classroom and constantly felt like an outsider in her daily life. She also described that she was tired of dressing one way to be taken seriously as a student and dressing another way to feel feminine. Women in science already aren't taken seriously by male colleagues, so Pollock feels she can't dress femininely while being around her male physics colleagues. Women are still underrepresented and underappreciated in STEM fields today, and that needs to change. However, women going into STEM majors and careers need to be aware of these difficulties to face because society needs more women in STEM. Society should care about the lack of women in STEM because it means we are lacking the perspectives of over half the world's population. No matter how hard we try to equalize things, men and women are fundamentally different. According to Sue Williams from INC Magazine in 2014, the world learned just 25 years ago that a woman's heart disease manifests itself differently to men's. In 2014, a survey conducted by the American Heart Association stated 6 in 10 women said that breast cancer was the most serious threat to their health, and only 10 said heart disease. But statistics show that every year cardiovascular disease kills almost twice as many women as cancer, and more women die of heart disease than men. Since women were not given treatment tailored to their gender, with most doctors being men, they suffered unfortunate outcomes. Another example is that for decades, drug development testing was done on young male medical students, and when the drugs hit the shelves, women were prescribed the same doses as men. This is a problem because sometimes the medications didn't work as well on women, or they had extremely fatal outcomes. In 2013, the Food and Drug Administration reduced recommended doses of Ambien for women by half, as women take longer to metabolize the pills and were waking up driving with the drug still in their system. These are just a few of the hidden costs of the low numbers of women researchers in STEM. It is 2019 and we need more women scientists who understand women to be able to help the medical field community with women-specific inventions. Now I will explain some solutions that we can implement into our society. When it comes to women in STEM, there is a lot of talk about bias, role models, unequal pay, lack of inclusion, and support. The list could go on. When asked how to encourage more women to join STEM fields, Camila Moracho, chemical and molecular engineer major, says growing up having to make a decision about what field to pursue can be intimidating, especially with the rigor that comes with STEM fields. But women should look past their fears of entering a male-dominated field in hopes with making their own mark. In fact, one of the most crucial things a woman can do to help another woman succeed is to just be supportive. According to Andy O'Rourke, in 2016, U.S. Department of Education research shows female students who have strong self-concept regarding their abilities in math or science are more likely to choose and perform well in elective math or science courses and to select math and science-related college majors and careers. Inspiring more young women to pursue careers in science start with female role models sharing their stories. We need to encourage women who have had success in these fields to share their stories and create a voice for those who are struggling. Lastly, according to Candace M. Hughes from the American Management Association in 2018, we need to increase government and nonprofit grants and scholarships for mid-career STEM-trained women who want to switch or return to key fields such as engineering or computer science. In conclusion, today I've told you about why there are still so few women in STEM majors and careers, why we need more women in these fields, and how we can increase our representation of women in STEM. Ultimately, our society has shut women out of specific career fields for way too long, and we need more representation and appreciation for all the women in STEM. Together, we must raise awareness in our community to ensure full accountability to advance women in science, technology, and for achieving gender equality.